Good day, Hudson Valley. I'm your host, Lisa Caslin, and welcome to our show where we bring you the best of what's happening and who's happening in Putnam, Northern Westchester, and Dutchess County. We are talking with Support Connection today, a wonderful local organization that provides support to women who have been diagnosed with breast or ovarian cancer. I'd like to welcome my guests, starting with Barbara Cervoni, who is the Director of Services and Communications for Support Connection. Welcome.
Thank you.
And with her is peer counselor Marlene Steger. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we also have Maureen Toohey, who is the owner of Fresh Organic Salon Solutions, a wonderful shop in Brewster. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. I did a little bit of research before you came on because this topic is so in the news right now. It's September and October, right? It's awareness for both ovarian and breast cancer. And the numbers are pretty staggering. Over 250,000 women every year are diagnosed with either breast or ovarian, more breast, but still it's a very high number. So tell me about the organization and how you're helping women cope with this diagnosis.
Sure. Well, Support Connection, it's a not-for-profit organization. We were founded in 1996, so we've been around for a long time now. And our essential mission is to offer support services to women and their families who are affected by these diseases. Those support services take a variety of forms, and we really feel strongly about having a range of services, because not everybody has the same needs or the same interests. All of the services are free too, which is very important to mention. We offer individual counseling, and that's provided by the counselors on our staff who we call peer counselors. Marlene is one of our peer counselors. And we call them that because not only are they counselors, but they're also survivors. So they're speaking from experience, which makes an enormous difference. When you call, immediately you feel a connection to the person because they've been through the tests, they've been through the treatment, they know what it feels like. The counselors are available by phone or in person. We also offer a range of other services which are all planned by the counselors, and that's intentional because we want everything to be offered through the lens of someone who's experienced breast or ovarian cancer. So in addition to the individual counseling, we have monthly support groups that meet. Right now we have 12 monthly support groups on our calendar, and they meet in a variety of locations throughout the Hudson Valley as well as by toll-free telephone. We also offer a year-round calendar of educational and wellness programs, such as lectures by doctors, wellness classes like Reiki and yoga and meditation, just things that enable women to cope with the aftermath of a cancer diagnosis.
That's wonderful. Marlene, you're a peer counselor, and that seems to be one of the strongest legs in this three-part services stool, if you will. I'd like to know what it's like to be a peer counselor, what's involved in that, how you got started with Support Connection.
Okay, that's a lot of questions.
Start with anyone.
The basis of peer counseling is really to meet women or families. Family members are welcome to call where they're coming from. There are some very common threads when facing a cancer diagnosis. Collecting your medical team, making treatment decisions, dealing with treatment side effects, and the impact of cancer on relationships. But everyone's experience is really deeply personal, and the challenges are very unique. So we try to meet them wherever they're coming from. And as Barbara highlighted, everyone's needs are very different. I was diagnosed in 1998. I was 38 years old, stage 2, with a young family. So I feel that I can relate well, particularly well, to women in that demographic. The good news is the advances in treatment and information. Things are very different today than they were back in 1998.
What was one of the things that helped you most when you reached out to Support Connection?
Well, honestly, in 1998, I did not know that Support Connection was in existence. I came in contact at first through a different organization. I was attending a fundraiser through Miles of Hope, and the executive director of Support Connection, Catherine Quinn, was accepting an award on behalf of one of the counselors. And she shared a bit about the organization. I was very interested, and I sought her out after the event, and that was in 2008, and I was a volunteer facilitator in Dutchess County for 4 years, and joined the counseling team in 2012.
Oh, okay. So this is relatively new.
Yes.
Okay, you've been on a long journey.
Yes.
So, if you're comfortable, I'd like to hear some of the stories that maybe will inspire women. Instead of, feeling hopeless, where is the hope? So, have you talked to any women that have, maybe come back and said, wow, just having you in my life has really helped or turned things around for me?
Yes, and I think we've all the counselors have had the joy of experiencing that. Again, a big part of what we offer is the validation of the experience. Everyone's experience is different, and also helping the women empower themselves. For example, a young woman, and as Barbara also highlighted earlier, we are able to serve women locally, regionally, nationally, and even internationally through technology. Living overseas, dealing with cultural obstacles, feeling very isolated, and we were able to email, and she looking for support. That what her experience was not extraordinary. She was operating within the norm. That her concerns and her fears were very real, and that we were going to support her all along the way in any way that we could. I've worked with an older woman residing in a different state who's really struggled, in addition to her diagnosis, navigating the healthcare system today. And being able to just, talk with someone and express her concerns and share her story at a slower pace. And a lot of our focus was helping her develop her advocacy skills so that she could communicate with her medical team, so that she could make her concerns and her fears known, and feel like that she was instrumental in her treatment planning. Working with a young woman who has a young family, managing an advanced stage diagnosis, giving her permission to put herself first. Women, and especially moms, have a tendency not to do that. Yes, this is a time to really focus on yourself, but at the same time, considering her diagnosis and her fears, helping her find ways to appreciate the small joys in her day, and to really enjoy time with her family amidst crisis.
That's wonderful. Barbara, Marlene was just mentioning how you really you're not just in the Hudson Valley, which is pretty amazing. I mean, your organization really steps it up, goes way above and beyond the call of duty. And maybe some of that even happened accidentally, right? Through your toll-free services. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we're based in the Hudson Valley, so that all of our in-person programs take place in Westchester, Putnam, and Dutchess. But we've had a toll-free support line for a number of years. And we also have 2 telephone support groups that meet on the toll-free line, so women can call in every month and participate in a support group by phone from the comfort of their home, no matter where they live. We've had the toll-free number for many years. I think that over the recent years, with the increase in electronic communication and the digital world and the internet, our services have become more known than ever. So we really do serve women all over the country through the toll-free services. You can call our toll-free number and spend as much time as you need to talking to a counselor. Coming up in September, we have a webinar that we're offering, an educational webinar for women with ovarian cancer. We do this every year in September because it's Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and we have a doctor from Sloan who's participating this year.
That's impressive.
And already we have close to 30 women signed up for it, and about half of them are from out of state.
Wow.
And the same thing is true for we have an ovarian cancer telephone group. That's one of the 2 groups we offer, and probably half of those women are from out of state also.
So they're searching on Google for
Yes,
a resource.
absolutely.
good optimization.
We also connect with a lot of other organizations that have a more national base. So they list us as a resource. The American Cancer Society refers people to us. There's a lot of networking that we do with other professionals as well to let people know that we're here.
That's great. And you know, when we talked before the interview, I loved the educational component, and I think we'll be showing some pictures of some of the yoga classes that you've done. Tell me a little bit more about some of the interesting programs related to education that you're doing.
We try to offer different kinds of programs because you may be a woman who likes sitting and talking to other women. You may not. You may be a woman who wants to go and just sit and learn, or go to a yoga class, and it's not a support group, but it is, because you're in a room surrounded by other women that have breast or ovarian cancer. So throughout the year, our calendar has a wide range of things. We have a Reiki class coming up. We have yoga that's offered weekly. We have usually at least once a year some sort of nutritional program to teach about healthy cooking and the things that women are trying to do when they're dealing with the aftermath of diagnosis.
And where are those classes being? Are they in Yorktown?
We offer them in different locations in the community. You know, we try to hit a range of geographic areas. Not many of them are offered in our office. Our office is relatively small, so we partner with churches and hospitals and, you know, other community organizations, libraries that allow us to hold programs there. We had a program this summer at a clay studio in Peekskill. So wherever we can find space.
And they're free?
Yes,
and
everything we do is free of charge.
And
There's
the calendar is on your
on
website?
our website,
right?
supportconnection.org.
And I think we have a graphic that has that website so people can check it out. So one of the most important things that we need to talk about is the upcoming walk.
Yes.
And is that your biggest event of the year?
That is. That's our biggest fundraiser of the year. It's the Support a Walk. This year is our 20th anniversary walk.
Oh, congratulations.
Which is a big thing. And it's a walkathon that's held every year in Yorktown Heights at FDR State Park, and it serves two purposes. Because it's our biggest event, we get close to 10,000 people every year.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It gives us a chance to spread the word about what we do, but it's also our most important fundraiser. So we have corporate sponsors, but the real fundraising comes from the people who are involved, people that have been touched by this in some way. They do fundraising. They ask people to sponsor them as walkers. They can set up a fundraising page and reach out to their friends and family. It's a really important event for us, and it's also a wonderful, wonderful day. It's really an uplifting community feel.
Where does it start? Where is it?
It's all within, it's at FDR Park, so it walks around the walk path at FDR Park. So if you come to the park on October 5th, you can't miss it because there's so many people there, and we have people directing it. It's a 3-mile walk. There are sometimes people that can't do the walking part because of physical limitations, and they can still come because we have other things going on as well.
That's great. So there may be people out there that are looking for creative ways outside maybe of the walk that they may contribute in some way, shape, or form. There's a lot of small businesses out there, and Maureen is a perfect example of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'd love to hear how you're sort of taking the bull by the horns, Maureen, and helping Support Connection raise money.
You know, when you mentioned you were in 1996, I didn't realize how new the organization was. Back then, I had a salon in Somers, and it touches my heart so much because I'm so close with my clients, and I'm usually the first person that they confide into. So, but recently, I've also been touched with a cousin of mine and an aunt of mine, so it's really starting to hit home. But when I found out about the organization, I just loved that I was able to help my client in that way. It's just being that rah-rah person is great, but to be able to say that there is support out there. There are people that you can talk to, and still today, there's a lot of people that doesn't even know it exists. As I'm mentioning about my fundraiser, and I can't believe that. It's all over the place. I don't know how people would, people don't know. So I really, really, want to create awareness that it does exist and there is help out there.
So what is the event called, and when are you doing it, and all that good
the
stuff?
The event is, I'm doing a fundraiser, and it's called Pink Soiree.
Okay.
And it's going to be on Thursday, the 18th, from 7 p.m. till whenever. And, so when I had the event before, it was just an immense, and I went to the walk. I got very much involved, and I couldn't believe the support that I was getting.
Yeah.
And whenever you do these things, you hope that people are going to come, and you get a little nervous
Yeah.
because a lot goes into what they do.
Yeah.
But this is also, I find, not only that I'm making a fundraising effort, but it's really a celebration, in a way of life, and that it needs to empower people. And I think that that's wonderful what you do. And there's nothing like having women around to do that. And I don't know if I could share the little story that I
Yeah,
had
please.
an experience in my salon. I do have a new salon, and it's in Brewster, but a cousin of mine was coming in that day to get her hair,
Yeah.
removed because
Yeah.
it started falling out, and it was hard for me. More so, it was hard. So earlier that day, I had a client come in who I believe that people are in your life for a moment, when you need
For a
them.
reason.
So a new client came in, never met her before, and she came in and she had shared that she once had no hair, because 5 years ago she went through breast cancer. And so now she has this beautiful hair. I'm highlighting it and doing all these wonderful things. I told her about my cousin, that I was like, wow, I'm so glad you're here today. Maybe you'll get a chance to meet her. Well, as that client was leaving, my cousin had just arrived. And it was like I was watching it.
Yeah.
Just a miracle just happening at that moment, that I introduced them, and I excused myself because it was just so overwhelming to have that moment. So I came back, and they were just sharing, with their experience, and I could see my cousin's face lightening up, and like it knows that it's temporary.
Right. She got the gift of hope.
This
from
is a
that other
temporary
woman.
situation. And I turned my cousin around, removed her hair, did a little makeup on her, and she was smiling, and I think it was just mostly because that woman was there at that moment to share that it's temporary,
Right.
and then she's been involved with Support and Connection as well.
That's a perfect example of why it's what sets us apart too, because the counselors are like the woman in the salon. They've been there before, they know what it feels like, so they are able to make an immediate connection. And we're so grateful to businesses like Maureen's Salon, because we are very small. We can't do it all ourselves, but we get a lot of community support. So having a fundraiser, holding a car wash, telling your customers about us and sending them to the walk. There's a lot of ways that you can really help.
And I want to, I'm looking to raise quite a bit. My goal is pretty high, but they don't even care of the smallest amount. I see Catherine all the time, and she's like, I don't even care if it's $15. Each little bit makes a difference, and I'm very happy with I'm trying to get other businesses involved, so, if I may, I just would like to, if any other businesses would like to contribute in a way, that would be wonderful. It's your way of giving back, and it would be just a wonderful wonderful night.
Tell me a little bit about, I'm interested in the whole, I was there sort of at the beginning stages when you launched your salon. It's still very new.
Yes.
And it's all organic.
Yes.
What was some of the health concerns that really fueled your passion for, a non-toxic beauty salon?
Well, back when I had the day spa in Somers, I was natural then. But what we thought was natural then is not natural today. Okay? So, and yes, you hear the word organic, it's all over the place, and nothing is 100% organic. But I have always, my passion, you asked about my passion, it's really fueled right now by my 14-year-old daughter, who absolutely loves beauty products, okay? So that's one thing. And then through my research, I have found that honestly, some might not like to hear this, but the beauty industry is really killing people. There's a lot of toxic ingredients in there that are very harmful in many ways. So one of the things is the hair color, and but that is a whole nother topic, and I would love to speak about that. I could go on for hours about that, but the thing about the chemicals and the toxins and all that, it builds up in our in the toxicity in our bodies, and it contributes to cancer. You know, but the passion also comes from the clients that I see every day, and my personal experience with it is that I used to suffer from chronic sinus infections, chronic fatigue, you know, at the end of my day. And I used to make excuses about it, you know. But since not working in salons anymore, because after I closed mine, I also worked in other salons as well. I've been in the industry all of my life. My parents were in the industry, so I was back in the beauty business when people were smoking cigarettes and spraying aerosol all over the place, you know. So it was pretty bad. So I no longer, you know, I have a non-toxic environment. And I no longer suffer from sinus infections. I no longer suffer from allergies of any kind. I no longer have migraines.
So just to bring it back to you guys for the moment, there's something that I want to just touch on that I think is important. And, you know, sometimes we're in it so we don't really realize that the other person who may be watching, who may have just gotten a diagnosis, you know, what is actually going through their mind? Because, I mean, I've actually had a health scare myself, and the first thing that went through my mind, and nobody could convince me otherwise, is I'm dead. I mean, that was it. I mean, I was stuck on the ceiling like this. You couldn't peel me off it.
I'm sure.
So I think that most probably is not a unique feeling.
Definitely
No,
not.
not at all.
No.
Not at all.
No.
So, you know,
Definitely
you're
not.
really in one of the most panicked situations when you get
Absolutely.
those words spoken to you. So, I mean, it's a big responsibility.
It is.
It really is
I mean,
to
it's
deal with
difficult to
that.
even pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had many women say, you know, somebody had to convince me to pick up the phone to call you because I couldn't even say the words
Yes.
out loud.
Yes.
It's overwhelming. And that's one of the reasons that we are adamant about having easy access to our counselors. They are there. You don't have to call and press this button to get this voicemail or fill out any forms. You call and you're connected immediately with someone that understands, because we know what strength it took just to make that phone call. It's really difficult. I mean, Marlene can probably speak to the feelings better than I can as far as.
Well, I'm just going to touch on what you were talking about earlier about, you know, hope. Sometimes the first thing that's helpful is to find out that they're not in this alone, and that there is a place to go, a place to call, someone to talk to. We're here. We're here as long as they want to utilize our supports, and then, you know, going beyond that based on, you know, what they're facing. You know, what kinds of resources are available, or, you know, again, highlighting the advances in science, you know, really depending on what they're dealing with and where they're coming from, helping them kind of
Pull them off the
reel
ledge.
Exactly. Reel them back in,
Yeah.
and be able to look at A, their own strengths, and B, all that is available to help them get through whatever it is they're facing.
Yeah, you guys are great. I'm your #1 fan. So we're running out of time, but I want to make sure that everybody is clear on the big events and when they're happening and all that good stuff. So, Barbara.
The Supporter Walk for Breast and Ovarian Cancer is on Sunday, October 5th at FDR Park in Yorktown Heights. You can register. I strongly encourage advance registration at our website, supportconnection.org, or by calling us at 914-962-6402.
Perfect. And we have the website, which is supportconnection.org.
Yes.
And we have a graphic of that. Perfect. Check that out. And then, Maureen, your event is when?
September 18th. It also will be going on all day too, so we'll be doing blow dries and haircuts. But it's at 7 o'clock the evening.
7 in the evening.
And please give me a call at 845-279-7247 or email me at maureen@freshorganicsalon.com.
I think we have the website, so
Okay.
your number and everything will be on the
Yeah.
website,
All
so
right,
it's easy.
great.
So
Thank you.
freshorganicsalon.com.
And anyways, you know, if you want to just call me and find out any ways that you can contribute.
Great, thank you. So thank you, ladies. This was a
Thank you.
great show, really wonderful information. Have a great day, Hudson Valley. Come back again.